Tonight on UI7 News, the U of I will have to hold a new student election. We'll tell you why there will be a do-over for the student trustee.
Then, U of I STEM researchers are speaking out about politics. See how they discuss how they should get involved.
Then, a new group of firefighters will join those protecting the community. See what their last week of training looks like.
UI7 News starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio at the University of Illinois campus, UI7 News, your U of I news source.
Hello, I'm Dakota Carson.
And I'm Saki Sugimoto.
The race for student trustee will soon face a revote. Will student turnout be higher this time around?
UI7's Claire Stuckel tells you what issues might come out of a second run right now.
After a contested student trustee election, the campus student election committee has decided to do a redo. It's after one of the candidates had technical difficulties that kept them from appearing on the ballot. Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Renee Romano, says that it might come with some new problems.
We hope students vote, certainly. That's the biggest problem. We have to get our technical people in the Dean of Students office to get everything going again.
She says that because it's being redone, it will become a standalone election, which might bring down interest from some students. Now it's a matter of whether or not the student body will come out and vote.
Romano says she's worried about voter turnout. She's worried students like the ones you see behind me might not show up to vote because the only issue on the ballot will be the student trustee. She says that having other issues on there usually helps with voter turnout. Will that help with this one? We'll see.
U of I freshman Shelby Harrison says that she definitely cares about who represents the student body on the Board of Trustees.
Well, I don't get financial aid, so I kind of need that little helping hand, you know what I'm saying?
We spoke to Trayshawn Mitchell, the student who had trouble with the sign-up link during the trustee elections. He says that he's happy with the outcome and that the university needs to put forward its best efforts for the students to get a fair election. Romano says that until the election, she'll be doing everything she can to raise awareness about the rescheduled election. She believes it's important that this one goes well.
I think anyone who assumes that position wants to feel like it was a good election.
In Champaign, I'm Claire Stuckel, UI7 News.
In other political news, Governor Bruce Rauner is due in Champaign this week in what many believe is a re-election campaign stop. Governor Bruce Rauner is due to stop at tomorrow evening at HL Precision Manufacturing on Round Barn Road. The governor started a fly-around to many cities in Illinois today, where he stopped in Bloomingdale, Northern and Western Illinois. He completes his tour tonight in Springfield. Tomorrow, Rauner will visit Southern Illinois, Quincy, and his final stop in Champaign. He's expected to address the state's fiscal situation at each stop.
U of I science and math researchers are trying to become more politically active as scholars. See how those in the STEM field came together to discuss their work within the community.
So we need to create some avenues for people to learn how they can defend themselves as well as the community.
Hani Ani wants to know how to be a more politically active engineer. To learn more about being politically active, Ani went to the People's Science panel held at Loomis Laboratory in Urbana. Ani has some experience in STEM. He is currently pursuing a second bachelor's degree coming off of 2 years working in Silicon Valley. He feels that those in STEM face more than just numbers and research.
What I think are important problems in engineering that are currently not really being discussed or considered, and definitely not being centered into engineering contexts. Well, they are being discussed and considered, but they're not being discussed and considered by engineers in engineering contexts.
The panel started with a general discussion on political action within STEM. J. Al McLean, a PhD student in sociology at the university, was one of the organizers at the event. McLean says that researchers already are embedded into society.
That their work is not separate from society. If you are a human being, you should be doing this work. You're human. We have to do what is necessary in order to produce society we want to live in.
After the initial discussion, the conversation turned more towards political participation among those in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
There was also a discussion of the March for Science taking place later this month. At the end of the day, Ani values those that he met during the discussion.
Because of the absence of these conversations in engineering spaces, finding other people who are actively thinking about this and who you can talk to help inform your own organizing and activating is really difficult.
In Urbana, Masaki Sugimoto, UI7 News.
A former University of Illinois student who admitted killing her newborn son will serve a 10-year prison sentence in the Illinois Department of Corrections. Lindsay Johnson pleaded guilty to felony in child endangerment this past Friday as a part of a plea deal. She was charged with first-degree murder, child endangerment, and a concealment of a homicidal death last April. Johnson was charged for allegedly suffocating her newborn son in a Bousfield Hall bathroom in March of 2016. The 21-year-old defendant was a sophomore in agricultural communications and a trumpeter in the Marching Illini at the time of her arrest. According to Illinois law, Johnson could be out of prison in 5 years with good behavior.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, the goal of the month is to raise public awareness about sexual violence and to educate communities and individuals on how to prevent sexual violence. The University of Illinois is having events all month long to raise awareness. April 12th will feature a workshop on becoming an active bystander. Events like this are an effort of the University of Illinois Women's Resource Center. Even the University Police Department has been getting involved.
So we're assisting mainly the Women's Resources Center with some different events and programming they're doing, helping get the word out. We're using social media. We're participating in those events. And
a full list of events can be found on the Resource Center's website.
The Illinois Marathon will take place next week in the streets of Champaign-Urbana. The director of the marathon, Jan Seeley, says the route will not change from previous years despite the MCOR construction on Green Street. As of today, there are more than 16,000 people running the marathon. That breaks down to over 6,500 running the 5K, over 4,000 running the half marathon, more than 2,000 running the 10K, more than 1,000 running the marathon, and less than 200 running the relay. The 26.2-mile marathon will occur next Saturday, April 22nd, near the State Farm Center, and ends inside Memorial Stadium. After a near-perfect Mom's Weekend at the U of I, all eyes are on the weather this Easter weekend.
Let's check with UI7's Elizabeth Dye live in Urbana with the latest look at the forecast for tonight.
As you guys can see, it is a beautiful spring evening out tonight, and as some of you may have noticed, there's been an abundance of these little guys out on the ground recently. And with the flowers in bloom comes pollen that's been wreaking havoc on a lot of people's allergies. We have a story about allergies coming up in the newscast, but first let's take a look at tonight's Fastcast. Tonight we will be experiencing a nice, cool, slightly chilly evening with a low of 39 degrees, some slight winds at 11 miles per hour, but other than that, it's a pretty nice night, and we'll check up on the forecast for the rest of the week in a bit.
After the break, we'll find out what the trainees at the Basic Firefighter Recruit Academy can expect by the end of the week.
And then we'll see what local students are doing to promote Campus Appreciation Day.
You may see some new firefighters in the area as the 6-week training program wraps up for the Basic Firefighter Recruitment Academy in Champaign. UI7's Natasha Mosquera finds out how this course has impacted one individual in particular.
For the past 5 weeks, 33 male trainees from all parts of Illinois have taken part in the Illinois Fire Service Institute Recruit Firefighter Program. Their training is paramilitary in nature and is meant to prepare them for a 30-year fire they would tell their grandchildren about. One trainee, Lance Turstrip, said he is really grateful to have been given the opportunity to attend the academy.
It's awesome to train with all these guys. Everybody's super knowledgeable. Everybody knows exactly what they're doing, the safe way to do things. There's a lot of information. I would love to come back even and learn more.
Part of their instruction consists of learning all the basic firefighter skills, such as knowing how to quickly and efficiently don their gear.
This, on my back, is a self-contained breathing apparatus the firefighters must don within 45 seconds. It allows them entry into a fire and enables them to mount an aggressive fire attack.
All instructors are on a fire department in their hometowns and have been conducting this training for quite some time. One instructor, Gary Gula, has been with the Fire Academy program since 1995.
We're not only passing on what we've learned, but we're passing those skills on and what we know and what we've trained ourselves at that level. So it means a lot to me to be able to pass that on and see that these guys come from right off the street into, real firefighters in the course of 6 weeks.
Super excited, super proud to be here. Glad that I could get through it all. It's a great day to be a firefighter. That's one big takeaway from this.
By the end of the week, all trainees will graduate and officially become fully accredited firefighters. In Champaign, I'm Natasha Mosquera, UI7 News.
A new study reveals the effects controlled breathing through the nose can have on the brain. UI7's Aaron Stanley shows how yoga can be one of the easiest ways to practice nasal inhalation.
If you can breathe, you can do yoga. A new study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that there's a direct link between nasal breathing and our cognitive function. Lois Steinberg, director of Iyengar Yoga in Urbana, says that posture is key in effective nasal breathing.
You can't breathe in well when you're stooped. You're collapsed in the lungs, you're collapsed in your upper abdominal organs, even the diaphragm is tense.
Pranayama is the term for the regulation of breath in yoga. In a seated position, with blankets or things of that nature to support your body under your thighs as well as under your buttocks. So you're going to bring your arms back, your shoulders down, head down, sides up, eyes quiet, as well as your tongue to help with your blood pressure and breathing in as normal. The study found that nasal breathing affects the electrical signals in the smell regions of the brain, as well as strengthens structures associated with emotions and memories. Yoga instructor Penny Hanna says that nasal breathing can also make you aware of your internal self.
You also become conscious of your inner life, your organic body, how your mind and your body are connected, and I think that makes you more capable and intelligent in using all your physical and cognitive functions.
Steinberg says that basic breathing exercises can be done on your own, but more advanced breathing practices should be taught by a professional.
If you start doing more than that without knowledge behind it, and you do the breathing exercises incorrectly, it can start to dehydrate you or even cause some mental disturbance.
Nasal breathing acts as nutrition for the cerebrum. When breathing, always ensure it is through your nose so you can feed your brain. In Urbana, I'm Aaron Stanley, UI.
While yoga and deep breathing can help you relax, some University of Illinois seniors are finding relaxation in the idea of graduation. Before walking across the stage in May, there are some items you should take care of before graduation. Graduates should have their cap and gown ordered online by April 13th. In celebration of the sesquicentennial, this year's graduates will wear a special orange stole. They must also register for the ceremony they plan to attend by April 13th. Tickets for the campus-wide ceremony are now available at the Illini Union Event Services window Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m.
I Love Illinois Week has kicked off on the University of Illinois campus. Student alumni ambassadors have been conducting events all across the campus. Today the focus was on campus appreciation. The SAA had booths outside the Henry Administration Building, featuring local businesses and students who are focusing on a greener campus. Fresh Press, Illini Gadget Garage, and a few other groups showed how easy being a greener campus can be. Brett Cohen, Vice President of Outreach for SAA, said the focus for the week is on Illinois pride.
Yeah, so the whole week in general is just to raise a lot of school spirit, get students to really love their university and to appreciate the different aspects of it, whether that be appreciation of their faculty, of their alumni, just the university in general.
I Love Illinois Week will continue tomorrow with Faculty Appreciation Day. I am so excited for I Love Illinois Week. Do you love Illinois?
Absolutely, I love Illinois. Of course, I'm a student here.
Well, that would make sense, of course. I'm a student as well. But I am definitely really appreciative of being a student, and I'm just excited to celebrate it. I think they're doing really cool ways to, get in the spirit of Illini.
Awesome. We'll be back to check on your weather and allergies right after a short break.
Masaki, I have to say, this weather outside has really been just messing up with my allergies.
Oh,
like my
that's
eyes
never
are
fun.
watering, my nose is stuffed. It's just really uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely. It's never fun because you see, the nice weather, the flowers blooming, and then all of a sudden your allergies start to build up, and it's like, oh man, it comes with a price. You sort of miss winter a little bit when that happens.
Definitely, definitely. I wouldn't mind taking a little chilly weather versus the conditions I'm feeling, but
Absolutely. Well, and because of that spring weather, it's time to check with UI7's Elizabeth Dye to find out what's in your forecast this week.
We have a beautiful week ahead of us with highs in the 60s and 70s, but there is a catch because there's a lot of rain to be expected this week. Looking at our radar, we can see why. There's not much going on in Illinois just yet, but this front is moving through and will hit us Thursday with rain. Now taking a look at our local temperatures, we got some highs in the 50s pretty much through every town listed, 59 in Springfield, and in Champaign-Urbana, 58. Taking a look at our Midwest temperatures, we have some highs in the 50s and 60s. The highest will probably be Louisville at 68. The lowest we can see is Chicago at 50 degrees. Taking a look at our national temperatures, it's a beautiful week for the United States. We have some highs in the 70s, 75 in Miami, 71 in New York, 77 in Boston, and the coldest towns would be Helena at 51 and Seattle at 54. Now going back to Champaign-Urbana and looking at tonight, it's a beautiful and clear night at 39 degrees though, so it is a bit chilly with some light winds. Looking at tomorrow, it's another beautiful day with a high of 67 degrees and just some light winds to be expected. Now taking a look at our 5-day forecast, as you can see, it's a beautiful week for us. We have some highs in the 60s and 70s. We see on Thursday is when the rain will hit us, and it carries on to Sunday, but the chance really does decrease after Friday. And on Saturday, as you can see, we have the hottest day of the week at 78 degrees, a low of 58, and Easter will be another beautiful day with a high of 72 and a low of 48.
Thanks for that, Elizabeth.
UI7's Nico Burden joins us now with a look at sports.
When we come back, we'll talk about the recent Illinois basketball decommitments and check in on how the rest of the Illinois teams did over the weekend. It's official. 2 members of John Gross's 2017 recruiting class have decommitted from the U of I. The university confirmed Tuesday that 4-star Jeremiah Tillman and 3-star Javon Pickett have been granted releases from their letters of intent. Pickett is the number 7th ranked player in Illinois for the class of 2017, while Tillman is the number 1 ranked player in Illinois, as well as the 27th ranked player in the nation, according to 24/7 Sports. The release comes after the replacement of basketball head coach Gross for Oklahoma State coach Brad Underwood in March. And with the pieces still moving around for the men's basketball team, Underwood and athletic director Josh Whitman now have 4 active scholarships to offer recruits. And it just so happens that the regular period for NCAA recruiting starts tomorrow. Visits with Illinois' Mr. Basketball Mark Smith and Italy native Francesco Badocci are expected. Well, the Illini men's baseball team had a rocky weekend before pulling out a huge win against number 21 ranked Michigan. After going 2 games down, the orange and blue led with some strong offense Sunday, taking a 6-0 lead before losing some ground in the 3rd inning as freshman starter Cirillo Watson gave up 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. The boys were able to hold off the Wolverines, though, as the Illini took 1 game out of the weekend series. The team will meet their Central Illinois neighbors as they play the Illinois State Redbirds tonight at 6. And while the men's team struggled, the women's softball team dominated their series against Purdue this weekend, sweeping the Boilermakers. In their final meeting on Sunday, the team focused on swinging their bats while maintaining harsh defense to take a 4-0 lead until the 6th inning. The black and gold weren't ready to give up, though, and rallied back in the top of the 7th to tie the game. It was a solo shot from Nicole Evans that pushed the Illini to a win. And while Evans was the hero of the game, she was immortalized as a Champaign legend this weekend as she became the program's career RBI leader with 165 runs batted in. The Illini will try to continue their dominance as they too will play some Illinois natives when they take on the Southern Illinois University Edwardsville Cougars tomorrow at home. And while there was celebration on the diamond, that spirit carried into the State Farm Center this weekend as the Illini took 3 Big Ten event titles at the State Farm Center. Brandon Nye nabbed the Big Ten title on pommel horse with a 14.825. Johnny Jacobson took to the parallel bars to grab his Big Ten title, and Alex Diab won his second straight Big Ten still rings event, scoring a 14.875. The Illini will have some time to rest before they head to the NCAA Championships in West Point, New York next weekend. And if that wasn't enough Illini athletic success for you, one alumni made a huge statement in the Masters in this week's National Wrap-Up. Thomas Peters, a former Illini, made a huge statement at the Masters this weekend as he placed 4th overall. The Belgian 25-year-old surprised the masses as he led the tournament briefly on Thursday. Peters won the NCAA individual golf title at Illinois in 2012 and the Big Ten individual title a year later. As for his recent success, taking 4th place paid off in a cool $484,000. Sergio Garcia took home the grand prize of $1.98 million and, of course, the coveted green jacket. And it's playoff time for 2 Chicago teams. While one has secured its spot in the postseason, the other is still hanging by a thread. The Chicago Blackhawks clinched first place in the Central Division and are preparing for a battle against the Nashville Predators starting Thursday night. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls are still up in the air as they find themselves in a do-or-die situation. Jimmy Butler and the Windy City Crew face a must-win game tomorrow versus the Brooklyn Nets. If they rise to the challenge, the Bulls will find themselves either as the 7th or 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Lose, and the season is a wash. That's all for your UI7 Sports. Back to you guys.
The bonds between an owner and pet can be very strong. One Canadian man showed just how strong when he jumped into a freezing pond to save his dog. Check it out in this edition of Take a Look at This.
Love and courage is what one Canadian man must have had to jump into icy waters to save his drowning dog. Pure dumb luck is what one news crew had because they just happened to be there to catch it all on camera. Duncan McIver. Wait, MacGyver? No, our hero spells his name McIver, and he jumped in without hesitation after witnessing his dog fall through the ice in St. Alberta, Canada. The news crew that captured the heroic rescue was ironically in the area shooting a story on the dangers of thin ice. Both McIver and his dog Cosmo are okay. It was opening night at Solano State Prison in California, and inmates put their Shakespearean skills to the test.
I might not never leave this place.
The Marin Shakespeare Company has been training inmates to perform the Bard's play King John, and the troupe premiered the play to guests and inmates over the weekend. Most of the performers are serving life terms. Organizers say the program teaches collaborative skills
I do bequeath my faithful services
and allows inmates to tap into their creative sides. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Speaking of dogs, it's National Pet Day. No matter what type of pet you have, whether it's a dog, cat, bird, or horse, share some appreciation for your favorite animal friend. We thought we would share some of our favorite pets in honor of the holiday. Here's UI7's Jordan Moore's dog, Guinness. She's an Airedale Terrier. Here's UI7 Jessica Corso's dog, Roscoe. He is a Chihuahua mix. Next is UI7's Aaron Stanley's dog. He is a Cockapoo. And UI7 Elizabeth Dye will be actually getting this little one at the end of the month. Mochi is a Shih Tzu Yorkie mix. UI7's Nico Burden's dog Chief is a poodle. And last but not least, this is Biggles. He's my dog, and he is a Shih Tzu Tibetan Terrier mix. Look at those faces. Those are cute, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Do you have a dog, Masaki?
No, I think I'm the only one on the desk who doesn't have a dog.
Ugh, I love dogs. Well, that's all we have for tonight's edition of UI7 News.
Thanks and have a great night.